I am the world famous DJ Icon, and we're watching So Cool Entertainment.
On that gas, like to be on Cinemax, movie, my boo, bigger.
Okay, let's get into the questions. Where are you from?
From Richmond, California, San Francisco Bay Area.
And where did you grow up?
San Francisco Bay Area.
And when did you come to Portland?
I came to Portland when I was 18 years old. I played sports at Portland State University, and I was also a cheerleader at Portland State University.
And when did you leave?
So I was in Portland for about 4.5 years, and at the time I was chasing a career in football. So I left about four and a half years after I came to Portland and went to Arizona to try out for some league teams.
Okay, and how long have you been doing music for?
I don't know. I say, me and my friends say about 15 years. If you merge the fact that I started in broadcasting, so I started in radio and worked my way into a DJ, into the DJ industry. So about 15 years, give or take.
Okay, and so how has transitioning coming back into the music scene been for you?
You know, transitioning into the music scene as an older person is definitely a little more difficult. And it's because a lot of the artists that I grew up listening to at 18, 21, 24, the Jay-Z's, the Kanye's, you know, a lot of the rappers from the 90s like, you know, Pac and Big and Bone Thugs and Harmony, a lot of those artists that were very inspirational to me in my career aren't on the scene like that today. So, you know, trying to listen to a lot of the younger artists in the top 40 category is hard at times, because for me, I'm like, they're not, you know, at the same level perhaps of the guys I grew up idolizing, but that's why I'm a good DJ, because it's my job to find those songs that are relatable to everyone, not just me.
So there being a difference between you and the younger crowd, do you feel like there is more competition?
I would say yes, and it's because in the early 2000s, DJs were defined a different way than they are today. Back in the older days, DJ Funk Flex said that a DJ was a person that had over 1,000 pieces of vinyl. So me being a young person in that era, I went and got me 1,000 pieces of vinyl. And that made me a good DJ, regardless if I could use them or not. Whereas today, everybody is working in the digital world as DJs. If you don't have Technique 1200s, you can have CDJs, and even some iPhones are able to play and cue and split music now. So it's definitely more competition, because the young people of today have no problem rehearsing a set for 1,000 times. Whereas back in the old days, I had to perform Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it was one take, you know, or you make it, you break it.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same.
No.
So what first got you into music?
It's a funny story to me, and it's basically everybody that was an athlete in Portland in 2003. You know, we all kind of were recruited from the Bay Area. We all looked the same, and we all wore the same green jumpsuit with our name and number. So when we go to, you know, Bar 71 or Barracuda or the clubs of that time, we all look the same. So for me, coming from the broadcast side, I was more attracted to what the DJ was doing. I didn't know anything about what he was doing. I was just attracted to it. And I remember DJ Hypnotic, Andy, used to say, "Why do you come in every day and watch me spin?" And I said, "I don't know anything about it. I just like it." And just from that little conversation, about 3 months later, he was letting me host parties at Bar 71 when Z100 would take their marketing down and go home. He would hand me the mic, and I just fell in love with it after that.
All right. Who inspires you to do music?
I have my palette is really long and deep when it comes to music. Just off the top of the bat, Kanye West for me was a major influence, and it was because if I messed up, I just do the Kanye West approach. The Kanye West approach is, yeah, I might have messed up, but I'm not going to tell you I did, and I'm going to deny it, and I'm going to be as full of myself as I could. Because the more confidence you have as a lesser person in the industry is the only thing that's going to see you through. So Kanye West was really big in the development of me as a DJ, not even as an artist or a rapper. It just because it gave me the confidence to keep going. And Pharrell Williams was another really big influence. I had a conversation with Pharrell in Vegas, and he said to me a quote that I tell a lot of young people in the industry now, and he said that the amount of wealth that you have is not defined by the amount of money you have in your pocket, but more about the amount of knowledge you have in your brain. And that stuck with me to this day.
That's a good piece of advice. How would you describe the music you make?
It's been several years since I've actually been in the studio producing music and that. But as a top 40 DJ, my job is to spot a hit. In the early 2000s, 2006, 7, and 8, DJs knew that if a song was broke in May, and it was like if it were a Drake song, for example, that song would last at least through the summer. And if you go back to the early 2000s, like 2001, songs would live for a year, right? Whereas today, in today's industry, you'd be really surprised if a song really lasts 3 weeks. And that's why it's more important for those of us that are true DJs today to have a firm grip on all the new music. And that's because a Pop Smoke song or a Weekend song may be good on a Thursday and be gone and over with by the next Thursday. So we have to be able to break new music that we can forecast to last at least 2-3 weeks, maybe through the summer if it's really a top 40 song.
Yes. Who are your influences?
In the DJ industry, for me, because I wasn't, in DJing, we have expressions. You're either a turntablist, that's a person that can, do all types of tricks and just their scratching game and things like that are innate. Or you're like the DJ Kid Capri, where Kid Capri was one of the first New York DJs that not only could do turntablism, but he was very, very good with his vocals. And that's the thing that is lacking in a lot of DJs. They're either really good on the tables or can speak, but maybe can't DJ as well. So for me, a major influence was DJ Kid Capri, DJ Funk Flex, and to keep it on the West Coast, specifically in the Northwest, some of my favorite DJs up here would be DJ George, DJ Mellow C, DJ Playtime, and these are all guys that were very, very inspirational in my development and helped me out when I was a young buck that thought I knew everything.
What's your creative process like making beats?
Well, I would say for me now, because I am still very much a club DJ more than anything, and because I do have my podcast, it runs a lot. The way I create mixes and shows are completely different than I did before. Before you could just play on the vinyl, see what's kind of stuck, and then go to the club. And if people vibe to it, that was the process. It was all the reciprocity from what you feel from the crowd. Whereas today, because we live in a digital world, especially for those of us that are DJs, the process is more about finding out the artist, the go-to artist that people my age like and the young crowd likes. And then from there, just trying my best to facilitate a playlist that will get me somewhere between maybe 85 beats per minute or up to 100, and basically try to get the heart rate up and then lower it a little bit and just keep it fluctuating up and down to keep people in a stable mood.
Okay. If you could open up for any artist, who would it be?
I think that's a tough question, and it's because I've already done those shows with people that were my heroes, you know? I remember one of the best shows I ever did was with Redman and Method Man. And if you've never been to a Redman, Method Man concert, I would say go fly to New York, get it done. It's crazy. Once you've been on that level and on the stage with those guys, everything is a step down. With that being said, I think it would be cool to, work with Travis Scott. I like Travis Scott a lot because he does have a lot of that like rock little sentiments in his music. And because one of the first radio stations I ever worked for was Live 105 in the Bay Area. Anytime I can mesh genres with hip hop, I think I'm, in heaven. So I definitely would like to work with artists that can, translate across different genres. It's great.
Okay, and this kind of ties into what you were saying. What's the craziest show you've been to?
Yeah, Redman and Method Man is definitely bar none. I was fortunate to be on stage when Kanye West came to Portland, Oregon. I can't even think of the name of that venue now. It's been so long, but you know how the industry is. If you've never heard of somebody, we always kind of knock them and kick them to the curb. But I promise, when Kanye West did Jesus Walk in 2003, it was like, it's cool to do, religious music. This is great. And for me, that was awesome. And then from all my years of working in Vegas and turning up on a very grand level, I've probably seen a lot of artists that I can't even remember because I was just so far gone. But definitely 50 Cent was one to definitely go and check out. Not because of the on-stage performance, but just about the party and the atmosphere that you have.
How long has music been a part of your life?
Music has literally been in my life since the early 90s. I grew up in a household with a father that was really strict. And there was no music, no television, any of that. He wanted me to keep my head in the books and, make it to college. But he had to go to work. And when he would go to work, I would grab that cassette player and I would listen to TLC, Tupac, Biggie, Bone Thugs, like any and everything I could, the Brat, like, so for me, not being readily, not having music readily available to me, as a child made me want to do it more. And I tell people all the time, music has literally been a part of my life since I was like 5, 6 years old, just going behind my dad's back, listening to anything I could.
What makes you different from the next artist and why?
I say at this stage of my career in the industry, what makes me different today, again, I don't compete with the others because we are all at different levels in our career. And it would be, I feel like it would be a disadvantage for me to try to compete with the young 20-somethings because I've already done that. When I was 21, I was a cutthroat and I was trying to step on every other DJ I could. And if I could get on Jammin' 95 or Z100 and say something about them, I would. Whereas today, everything that I'm about, because I have a daughter and that did kind of soften me up a lot. Everything about me today is about influencing and helping other people, regardless if they consider themselves better than me or not. I tell them all the time, everybody I meet is a better DJ than me. I just promote and market myself, or at least think about promotion and marketing more than a person that is only focused on tangible music. And for me, I just try to be a helping hand for anybody and everybody because I feel like I've made more friends in the industry doing that than just trying to step on people.
Yes, I like that answer. If you could collaborate with any artist, who would it be and why?
It may sound crazy, but earlier this year I spent 3 months in Brazil, and I did it because I've done everything here in the States, high and low. So for me, where I'm at in my career, I am building my brand and marketing what I do outside of the States. And I had the opportunity to work with several artists in Brazil. And to me, that was like, I could just feel it in my heart. I need to be there and I need to be working with them because their music, their style, their genre of music is so different than what I play here in the States. And I like it because it's allowing my brain, a brain that's been in hip hop since 2003, to grow and learn. And that's what music is, or any subject for that matter, is all about, continuing to grow and learn. So I invite any artists outside of the States or here in the States, regardless, to just reach out and let's try to do something, because that's how we all get better.
What's your creative process like?
My creative process, I don't know if you've ever seen like clips from Lil Wayne back in, the early 2000s. He always had an earphone in his ear and he was always listening to a beat. And for anybody that has ever been on the top of, the Mount Rushmore of rappers, you always see the headphones on and them continuously listening to music. If you see me out anywhere, it doesn't matter if it's Beverly Hills, or wherever, I have an ear pod in and I'm listening to music because I am stretched out across a lot of different things that I do. So I have to listen to music when I can. I can't just always sit down at the computer and listen to music. So the thing as you get older is trying to fit stuff in. So for me, my creative process is literally listening to as much music as I can and just getting the melody in my ear. And if I can find that sound that I know sells, I know I have a hit. And if I just could make a podcast or do a DJ set with nothing but hits, people don't necessarily care about how it's distributed to them. They just want to hear it, right? So that's all I try to do. Just find the hits, play the hits, and play the artists that you and everybody likes.
Are you working on any new projects right now?
Currently right now, I have some artists in Southern California. In addition to even like Portland artists and things like that, if I am anywhere in the vicinity of their music, I'm trying to promote and market it. In addition to some of the guys that I work with, like Lou Perrion, you maybe never heard of him because he is very much a local California artist, promoting and marketing his stuff. A lot of people that are in the UK, I've branched out into the grime and dubstep industry. A lot of those artists, trying to promote and market them here in the States, because everybody outside of the States want to make it here in the States. So if I can be that bridge to help give them access to a lot of our local artists and talents, I want to do that.
Yes, I agree. We definitely need the exposure out here too. What's your favorite project so far and why?
My favorite project, I don't know. Anytime Young Thug drops anything, I soak it up because, again, he's another one of those like hip hop hybrid artists that very much oozes like rock and roll. Any artist like that. I personally always listen to anything new. Anything new, I want to be on the cutting edge of anything new. So like if Gunner just pushed out a new album or if Future just dropped a new album, I'm listening to it. And then because I've always, I grew up in a very Christian family where soul music was bar none, I'm always listening to anything soulful. If it's Kanye, Pharrell, or Chance the Rapper, whoever it is, I'm listening to that because that's what I listen to in my CD player in the car.
You being an artist, what's the craziest DM you've gotten?
The craziest DM I've gotten, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you could really put much confidence in DMs, but you always get. I personally always get. They may see like, hey, he has an Aston Martin, So you always will get like some chick that is showing me every part of her body, telling me like, let's do this, let's do that, let's go here, let's do that.
Trying to
And
get in there.
and that for me is just ridiculous, because it's like, not only have you just like lost all censorship of everything, it's like, wow, that's aggressive, super aggressive, but it happens more times than not, and more explicitly than not.
I bet. All right. Do you have any secret talents?
Yeah, I think for me, people probably don't know that my dad pushed me through culinary arts when I was 16, and they don't know that like I am actually a chef. So people are surprised when they come over my house and they have like a basil fried rice, and with the whole shebang bang in the wok, and they're like, wait, what? And then I tell them like, hey, we can do cream cheese salmon too. So for me, cooking is very much a release. And something that when maybe I've gotten to a wall as far as music goes, I can go in the kitchen and I can prep and prepare a meal that is not only healthy, but also very good.
Yes, multiple talents. How did you get your name?
So running around the streets of Portland back in the day, Z100 used to say, well, Tim, what do you want to be known by? And because whenever I'd say hi to people, I would always say, like, my name's Tim Brown. And they'd be like, Tim Brown, nice to meet you. Are you your brother James Bond? And I'd say, no. So, we thought about it so much. And I said, listen, I want a name that's catchy, because I was going by like Tim Wees, Tim Wees, trying to be like Wayne. And one day, my buddy was just like, bro, everything you do is just like on this iconic level, Tim. He could have been gassing me up,
Yeah.
But ultimately, when it came to picking a name, I was like, man, you know what? I want to push the line. I don't want to get to the line. I want to push the line. And I think that's why I've been so successful in my career, is because when I became a local celebrity in Portland, I didn't just want that. I wanted to go to LA. I wanted to go to Vegas. So DJ Icon came from the fact that I just wanted, when they heard my name, they automatically knew, oh, he's not trash. He can't be trash with a name like Icon. So at the very least, if I can't DJ, I'm a shine,
Right. What's your biggest dream?
My biggest dream is to be known and a household name in the UK and in Latin America. In addition to, in the States. I want to be known in the UK. I want to be known in Latin America, Brazil, and that's it for me. If I can inspire people and if people come up to me and say, hey, you help me with this or that, I think I get more joy in those comments than I do people that just want to take pictures with me and stuff like that, So I just want to be known, and I still want to be relevant, maybe even when I'm like, if I'm Snoop's age or something like that. That would be my dream.
What artists from Portland would you like to collaborate with, if there are any?
From Portland, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Back when I was 18, Issa had me in the studio. And to this day, the song I was on with him, to this day, is his best song. And it's because my vocals was on it. So I'm telling you, I don't know if I've asked him, but I want to get in the studio with him, because I know that everything he is mixed with a little bit of me would be gold, So between him and any other local Portland artist I'd work with, I'd do it, I think it could only be great. And that's where I stand on that. Anybody, you want it, we can do it.
Thank you for coming. And where can everybody find your music?
Well, right now, you can always go to djicon.net, DJAYICON.net. But if you go to mixcloud.com and just DJ Icon, you'll be able to have access to a full catalog of all of my podcast episodes for the last 3 years. We got techno on there. We got, hip hop, new hip hop. We have R&B. We got everything on there that you want to listen to. And it's all relevant still to this day. And then across all the social media platforms, it's DJAYICON. And I'm probably the most active on Instagram. So DJ Icon, and you'll find me.